the All-Star Advisor Alonzo Hall, here today to hit y'all with an ADH Wealth Solution article. Before I go in, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. So bear with me while I get dressed. I'm going to take y'all outside with me. You know, we're going to do our read and smoke together. Got a little bit of a tummy ache. I also, while I'm at it, I want to talk about some things. I realized, like, I was talking to some people about the collateral assignment yesterday, professionals, like mortgage guys, and they didn't, even a bank, and they didn't quite get it. And I realized, oh, it's not something that is average, the average person does. And so just like Meek Mill, there's levels to it. And I realized that the level of people that I was dealing with aren't on the levels of the upper echelon or the ultra wealthy. Even though people get money, they don't deal with a certain level of clientele. They're generally going to be dealing with the middle class or upper middle class. And if you ask me, because I'm in those income ranges, I don't think it's upper middle class. Though they say it's upper middle class, I don't think it is. But we shall see. So bear with me while I get dressed. And y'all will come with me on my journey. Yeah, we don't know this one today. Get my button up on. He always does this with the wrong button. Sleeves. Do that. Here go my wallet. Gotta keep the wallet together. Make sure to share this out too. Business Connection, what's going on? Bear with me a little bit. I am getting ready to take y'all outside with me so I can read the article. I'm just getting dressed right now. Throwing on a button up. And don't get me wrong, I'm not an image person, but I do understand image is important. And that's very true, image is important. Even just to feel good, it is good to look good and to keep yourself trimmed and stuff. Because sometimes when you don't cut your hair and get dressed nice, it does put you in a depression. Um, sometimes when I don't have my hair cut and everything, I do feel differently. I do feel some type of way. But so that's why I'm doing things like getting dressed up again and stuff. You actually do feel different when you look a certain way, right? Like I kind of do like when I feel better when I have my hair cut and I have that nice part on the side. I feel more confident in myself. But I'm also a person who I don't like to go through the whole rigmarole all the time. Right? I'm kind of like, what is that, Dr. Cornel West in that sense. But bear with me, like I said, I'm just getting dressed. Go get me something to drink, and then I'm going to bring this downstairs to the car so I can read this article with y'all. Close my closet back up. And remember, So yeah, today's article is I'm part of the upper middle class. Here's what my finances look like. So we'll be reading that article from Yahoo Finance today. Give me 1 second. Hey, Scamperland. Everybody say hi to my cat. Say hi, Graham Cracker. Say hi to the world. You see the world? Say hi. All right. I'm going to put you down now. And he's going to bite me. You biting me in front of the world? Somebody's going to call PETA on me. All right. So let's get going. I realize I don't like downtime in these streams, but sometimes it's real life. You gotta live it. What did I do with my water jug? I left my water jug. Hold on. I might actually mix this with some juice. Throw some ice in here, actually. That's what I'm gonna do. Get some ice cold water. Take this outside. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall, whapping and tapping on your head with another ADH Wealth Solution. We will be getting to the article shortly. I am also giving some time for people to roll in. Just had to put some ice in my cup, my water jug from my little, water cooler and ice machine. Alright. Alright. Boots. Let's go. Oh, let me grab my tablet on a minute. Alright, now let's go. Alright, I'm glad y'all starting to roll in. Make sure y'all hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. We're about to get to it. What's going on, Queena? How are you? Glad to see you in the chat. We'll be getting to the article soon. I just gotta get ready to run outside. Well, not get ready, but I got to run outside. Like I said, I want to get back to grooming and shit because when I don't have, when I don't get the whole groomed and I let my shit grow, I be depressed as fuck with that shit. I ain't even gonna hold you. It's a form of depression, which is why most people don't groom. But highly functioning people like myself, unfortunately, when you have people depending on you, and you're the strongest motherfucker you know, nobody ever knows you're going through shit, and you ain't never gonna let them know. Alright, there we go. I forgot. I be on the Wi-Fi, and then I hop off the Wi-Fi. Daggone it. This Wi-Fi gonna keep stopping. No problem. You'll appreciate the article when I finally do get to it. I'm just realizing that, I got to give 10 to 15 minutes for the algorithm to kind of let people know that I'm even on and to let people, come into the stream. So also be on the lookout. I'll be doing a couple of webinars. One with the traditional way to qualify, and then the other, which is going to be with a collateral assignment. I'm realizing, though, that it takes working with people who are familiar with it. I spoke to a mortgage guy last night, and he said some of the dumbest shit. He was like, why would a bank want to accept the life insurance as collateral over the property? And I'm like, because they can't own property. The bank can't own property. The bank would prefer an appreciating asset than a depreciating asset, because since the bank can't own a property, the property would be a depreciating asset to the bank, because they'd have to foreclose on it, which is a long process. spend all that money on, but he doesn't care. All a mortgage loan originator does is get the paperwork, put it together, and send it to the underwriter. Shit, that's basically all an insurance agent does, is get your information, put it on the paperwork, and send it to the underwriter. Now, the difference is we have to know a lot more because we have to know the ins and outs of our product. The mortgage loan originator ain't got to know shit, but here, you need these 2 years of documents and some bank statements to see what it looks like. I'm going to send it to the underwriters and then they're going to make their determination. Right? And that's how that works. So bear with me, y'all. Turn on the whip. Alright. Put down my water jug. Get my lighter ready so I can smoke with y'all. Oh shit, hold on. My music is playing. Hold on, y'all. Well, in the interim, I'll let the music play, right? Press 1 if y'all can hear the music. Alrighty. Get my J ready. I might even drive off somewhere, to be honest. So let's read this article, y'all. Turn off this music. Alright. So, I'm part of the upper middle class. Here's what my finances look like. An article by Jamila Adam, Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, for Yahoo Finance. So again, ladies and gentlemen, before I go in, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. All right, so while the exact threshold fluctuates based on factors such as local cost of living and inflation, those in the upper middle class typically have an estimated household, so that means not just one person earning this much, but combined household income of $150,000 to $250,000. This income level is much higher than what the average American makes, according to U.S. Census data. The real median household income was $74,580 in 2022. So that means that people are making $35,000 to $40,000 a year combined, because when they're saying household, that isn't just one income, that's the household income. However, with their above average earnings, do upper middle class professionals manage their finances differently, or are they also living to paycheck like nearly 50% of Americans? Let's get a first person perspective. I'll give you a first person perspective. My household definitely is in between that $150,000 to $250,000 annual household income between my wife and I. And we're definitely living paycheck to paycheck, which is why I think $150,000 to $250,000 is lower middle class, or at least just middle class. The reason I say lower middle class, because you probably need $250,001 to $500,000 to be comfortably middle class. It says, what finances look like for someone in the upper middle class. Even though I make $250,000 annually, I still find it best to keep things simple. I don't go for fancy financial schemes.
It's all about knowing what's coming in, what's going out, and making sure there's always enough tucked away for a rainy day, said Brian Clayton, CEO of GreenPal. So this guy makes $250,000 a year, right? Here's what his income looks like. Investment strategies. Here's my go-to move. Buy a single family investment property each year. Aggressively pay down the debt, rent it out, and repeat. No overthinking, no jumping from one strategy to another. Consistency is key, said Clayton. Of course, buying a single family investment property may not be doable for everyone. But you can still adapt Clayton's philosophy to your own circumstances and establish a routine that aligns with your financial capacity and investment goals. This might involve regularly setting aside a portion of your income for investment purposes, whether it's in real estate, stocks, or other avenues. Yet, most realtors will push you against single family properties as an investment. Generally, they'll tell the average American to go to a multifamily. Number one, you're going to get when you go for a mortgage, they'll likely give you a larger amount of money because things like your life insurance add to your net worth, but things like the other um, units in a property add to your they'll add that to your annual income. So they'll take 75% of that. So let's say that the monthly rent in an area is $1,000 a month. They'll take 75% of that, or $750 per month, whatever that number is. They add that to your income to help you qualify for the mortgage, kind of like they do with a life insurance policy as collateral. So it says monthly budget and savings. So my monthly budget is pretty disciplined. I'm not one to splurge on unnecessary stuff. Most of my income goes into savings and investments. It's all about building that long-term wealth, not just living it up today, he explained. So despite making well above the national median wage, Clayton doesn't overspend. Instead, his financial philosophy revolves around maintaining a disciplined monthly budget and avoiding unnecessary costs. Now, while that sounds nice, again, there is the poor tax. So the less money you have, unfortunately, the more money you need for stuff. Because generally, for example, if you have less money, then you can't get a newer car. So you buy an older car that might need more repairs more often. But because you have less money, you can't get those repairs all at once. So you have to go on a payment plan. So that costs you. Now you got to pay the interest. There's a lot of things for being in the lower income that unfortunately punish you, right? Sometimes they call it the black tax because black people experience, but it's also the poor tax because poor people experience it. And there are a lot of rich black people who experience the black tax, but they also experience the rich tax, what happens if you've seen a movie years ago called Deep Cover. Jeff Goldblum was the bad guy, and he was with a Mexican guy. And the Mexican guy goes, "Hey, gringo, you're white, I'm Mexican. How do I know I can trust you?" He turns to me and says, "Hey, buddy, I'm rich, you're rich. We're on the same side." Right? So, those are things you got to look at too. Right? But lower income individuals, it's not just that easy to just have, that straight discipline. Because, in my honest opinion, as a financial professional, I do understand the fact of rewarding yourself. Now, what you should do is, just like a lot of these apps and stuff, you want to gamify it, right? So what do I mean by gamify? Well, to gamify means you want to put like levels to it, right? So you reach a certain tier before you can reward yourself. So, prime example, I smoke weed. I put a parameter on myself where until I make $10,000, I can't buy weed. So I'll have to go X amount of months until I make $10,000 to buy weed and smoke. right? So now it's a challenge. Ooh, I got it, and now I can watch my progress. Ooh, I bet $5,500. I need 2 more sales and I'll be at 10,000. Cool. Let me work with these people. Let me advertise. Let me canvas the streets. Right? So the same thing you want to do with when you reward yourself. Right? Set a goal. Hey, I saved $1,000. Remember, like I told you with car cash in the separate bank account, right? Open a bank account, a savings only account, preferably with a credit union that you can go to and you have to go to. Let me roll these windows down. I'm smoking this doggone cigarette. That you have to go to, and in order to withdraw or deposit money, right? So, let me turn this car off. In order to withdraw or deposit money. Big dog, what's going on? So now that you're in the position where you save that $1,000, now you can reward yourself. Now you can go get, that pack of Newports. Now you could go, buy those new Nikes. Now you could go buy a straight pipe for your car. And not with what you've saved. So if you need to spend an additional $1,000 on the straight pipe for your car, you save $1,000 and then save up the $1,000 for the straight pipe on your car. And you can put it in the same savings account that you don't touch. Again, as well, you want to do things like car cash, right? Obviously, I showed you guys my income from last year. January to June, it was 50,000 or 174,000. So I'm right in that realm. I'm telling you, I live paycheck to paycheck, right? It sounds nice to hear all these motherfuckers tell you this bullshit. But again, yeah, I curse, I spit, I smoke in the gangster rap. I'm not your traditional. But it's the reality. Right? Because all these other folks will give you this fluff and this bullshit. And they're all extra buttoned up. And so while it looks nice to you, you're not getting the results. And so while he's on a cruise and on a yacht and in a Lamborghini, that's your money he's doing it with because you paid him for the course. I ain't got no courses, no Discord, no Patreon. I don't even have no fucking merch. I don't even have a membership. I do charge a fee for a console. That's it. Right? So, I had somebody leave a comment, oh man, you ain't got the game. You can't relate to the people. Well, it's like the Marines. The few. The proud. The Marines. Semper Fi. Right? So there's going to be few who really get it. It's just like LJ with savings minus debt. And now I understand what he meant about being an alien. Right? I should have asked that mortgage guy, hey, can I check your credit report? Do you have no debt? Right? Or are you a debt slave? Well, it's the same thing with this insurance and finance stuff. But let's continue this article. So, but again, do the car cash. So keep loose change in your car. When you build up $50, that goes into your savings account. Again, if you're saving up for a straight pipe on your BMW, cool. Save $1,000 and then save an additional $1,000. Right? Because the purpose of saving money is to spend it. The purpose of money is to spend it. He says, I smoke and I listen to rap music. Listen, man, I do. I smoke. I listen to rap music. It's the reality. Right? But there's a lot of people make $100,000, live paycheck to paycheck. Make $200,000, live paycheck to paycheck. Especially, man, I live in one of the three most expensive states in the country: Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts. It's Massachusetts at 301,000 a year, Connecticut at 298,000 a year. I'm sorry, 281,000 a year, and New York at 279,000 a year. And the reason it's lower in New York is because New York State, not New York City. New York State is fairly inexpensive, and New York State is substantially larger than New York City. So let's continue. Financial challenges. One challenge I experience as someone in the upper middle class is not getting up in a lifestyle inflation, admitted Clayton. Lifestyle inflation, is also known as lifestyle creep, refers to the gradual increase in a person's spending and lifestyle as their income rises. For example, I made a good salary last year. I bought a Benz, right? I could have bought a Honda, but I didn't want a Honda. I wanted a Benz. And I got a good price for this, to be honest. This will be paid off by next year. And I checked the Carfax. What I really wanted was a Jeep Grand Cherokee, but the Jeep that they had right next to that's ironic. A Jeep just went by me. But the Jeep that they had that was right next to me at the time, it was not in good condition. So, what has helped Clayton navigate this challenge is staying grounded. I try to remember my roots and focus on growing my wealth, not just showing it off, he said. Now, in that, I disagree, right? Because money is a tool, right? So the wealthy generally use money as a tool, right? Let's see. And the more you make, the more they take. Well, that actually is very true, Queena. The more you make, the more they do take in certain instances. Like I owe a lot of money in taxes every year, right? Because I'm self-employed. But I get write-offs and stuff too. So it balances itself out. So as someone in the upper middle class, Clayton has learned to preserve and maximize his wealth by focusing on budgeting, investing, staying consistent with his financial strategies, and not blindly following trends. Remember, the goal is long-term financial security, not just short-term gains. It's not about being flashy. It's about being smart and steady with your money, he said. To Triv, what's going on? How to manage money as an upper middle class professional. While there is no one-size-fits-all approach to managing your finances, While there is no one-size-fits-all approach to managing your finances in the upper middle class, the following strategies could help you gain greater control over your financial life and make the most of your six-figure income. We also have to look at six figures is not all the same. There's a lot of space between 100,000 and 900,999. For example, last year I showed you 174,000 my income. But I have a client who makes a passive 120,000 and he doesn't have to work for that. Plus, he works. In the case of people listening to you, it's as if they like, dang, OG. No doubt. Listen, don't feel like a young punk. Life is life, right? People are gonna be upset with shit. When I was in my 20s, I did dumb 20-year-old shit, right? Now I'm a crotchety 40-year-old man, so I can look back because hindsight is 20/20 and try to guide you a certain way. The problem is this: you got to live your life, and your experience is going to be very different from mine. All I can do is give you my perspective and say, hey, listen, a lot of things, Cherie, what's going on? I appreciate you, right? So a lot of things, an amalgamation of a man is what he is, right? Muhammad Ali said, You show me a man at 50 that's the same as he was at 25, and I show you a man that wasted 25 years of his life, right? Tupac said it best: to be alive is to be a contradiction. Humans contradict ourselves every day, but there's a lot of ways around this. And Cherie, I need to talk to you a little bit more, hopefully when you come back around, because this collateral assignment thing, it's doable, but it's becoming difficult, and I understand why. Like I said, I was talking to a mortgage guy yesterday, and he was like, well, why would the bank want the insurance as an asset more than the property? And then my realtor friend was simply like, well, because the property depreciates. Because when we foreclose, we can't own a property. So we got to sell it. And then we got to carry the cost of maintaining it. And we're not going to upgrade it or anything. We're going to sell it as is. So, regardless of your income level, being mindful of how much money is going in and out of your bank account each month is a valuable habit to have. By regularly reviewing your bank statements or using a budgeting app like Mint to track your spending, you can identify toxic spending patterns, pinpoint areas for potential savings, and make informed decisions about budgeting allocations. If you realize you're splurging most of your income on unnecessary expenses, for example, yesterday the mortgage guy I was speaking to made some great points. He was saying, listen, when you're speaking to your clients and they're telling you, I can't afford $250 a month on a whole life insurance policy, I want you to say to them, Alonzo, to say to them, hey, Bob, listen, do you drink Starbucks every day? How much do you spend on Starbucks? About $5 to $7. Okay, let's say it's $7 a cup, right? So that's $7 a day times 5. What is that? 35 bucks a week, right? So 35 times 4, right? That's 35, 70. So you're spending 140 bucks a month on coffee, right? So that's half of your premium right there. And I was like, wow, well, when you look at it, and he said, and you spent that on perishable goods. Makes a valid point, right? Like I said, current contradiction. I'm telling one thing, but again, so the collateral assignment is not something that a lot of people are familiar with, right? A lot of concepts are some things that not a lot of people are familiar with. So you have to find people who specialize in what you're talking about. Prime example, I had a client who actually went to the bank, a big name reputable bank, and asked them about the collateral assignment, and they told him, well, you got to find a bank that partners with your insurance carrier. So, if you realize you're splurging most of your income on unnecessary expenses, it's time to create a budget. Many experts recommend using the 50-30-20 budget, which divides your income into 3 categories: 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings. So if you're making $10,000 monthly, $5,000 should go towards necessities like housing and transportation, $3,000 towards clothing, travel expenses, dining out, etc., and 20% should go towards retirement, emergency funds, or savings. Explore different ways to maximize your wealth. With inflation and economic fluctuations, it's more important than ever to preserve and maximize your wealth by either generating passive income, building a well-diversified investment portfolio, or exploring other ways to make your money work for you. Now, let's also look at another thing, because they keep saying this investment portfolio. Now, when they're talking about investment, usually they say 1/3. Here they say 20%. But generally 1/3 of your income should go to investing. So if you're making $150,000 a year, 50,000 of that should go to investing. So most people can't afford that. And then investing is not something that is supposed to be done in small increments, right? You can't go to Ruth Chris and buy a bite of steak, right? You have to buy the whole steak. So when you go to Robinhood and you buy a fraction of a share, you're buying that directly from Robinhood. So I went to Ruth Chris, I bought a 72-ounce steak, and then I'm selling everybody a bite of steak for $25 a bite. Now, yes, you get a bite of steak, but you don't get the full experience of going to Ruth Chris. So, for example, even though Corden Arsene, an upper middle class professional who works as fractional CMO at Digital Authority Partners, doesn't have a background in real estate, he took the time to learn about it and started buying, renovating, and holding multifamily properties after discovering that the multifamily market has stayed somewhat consistent after interest rates went up at the beginning of 2022. I've now purchased multiple 3 to 4 unit buildings in Lakeview, Chicago. Though this investment was time and capital intensive, it generated a much bigger return than anticipated. After remodeling the first building in 2022, the reappraisal came $600,000 over purchase price, with only $200,000 investment on my side, in addition to the $20,000 down payment, he said. Now, last year he purchased a building at $500,000 under market value and is now up $1 million with just $450,000 put in. Now, with these numbers, I always want to ask, what debt are they carrying? Right? This is a question that LJ would ask, right? What's going on, brother? This is a question that LJ would ask. Again, because it sounds nice to say, oh, I'm up this much, but again, hold $20 in your hand, and then put the balance of your mortgage minus that $20. Do you actually have that $20 or $100? Right? Are you really cash flowing if you owe a mortgage? Because again, mind you, on that mortgage, 20 years, you're paying interest. Nothing wrong with it. And there are ways that you can actually accelerate your mortgage. Right? You can pay it off early. You could buy points down on the interest. Right? He says nobody at all. Okay, you got all the money, bro. So, last year, he purchased a building at meet with a financial planner to map out your future. With a growing income often comes growing complexity, and financial planners are experts at untangling those knots. If you need help with optimizing your investments, handling taxes, or plotting the perfect retirement route, a financial planner could work with you to come up with the best course of action for your unique financial situation. Just know that meeting with a financial advisor can come with an additional cost. So, it is not something that you have to do. However, having them by your side can be beneficial if you're feeling stuck or unsure about how to reach your financial goals. So, that's the article for today, folks. But again, it's deceptive because that income is not a lot, right? Again, 150,000 to 250,000. I have clients. So I have a client who, like I said, makes $10,000 a month or $120,000 a year passively. He's in Brazil right now, right? And he doesn't even touch that buck money, right? He's also making a shit ton of money he works in the entertainment industry. And he's making at least $60,000 a year from real estate. Now, he's also carrying debt, so, but there's cash flow coming in because he could pay off that debt completely. He also has $750,000 invested with me. I have another client who has 3 jobs. He makes $500,000 a year combined with those 3 jobs. Okay? I also have a client who makes almost $1 million a year. He makes $947,000 a year. He's also in the entertainment industry. I can't say these people's names. You would know who some of them are. I'll tell you what. One of them has the same accountant as 50 Cent. I wish it was 50 Cent, but 50 Cent makes substantially more than $1 million a year. But my client, who has the same accountant as 50 Cent, makes $947,000 a year. So my $174,000, even though it's six figures, ain't shit compared to his $947,000. There's a whole lot more shit he could do with his $900,000 than I can with my $100,000. Right? It just is what it is. But that's why I'm able to make my $100,000, because I have clients with $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. I also have clients with $60,000. I also have clients with $24,000. I have more clients with $24,000 than I do with $900,000. As the evidence shows, most Americans make $74,500 as a household. Listen, youngin, most people are at 40K. If you have 40K at your young age, you're doing good. And if you're young enough and you're in your 20s, do this. Do these couple of things, right? If you have a job and they offer a 401k, pay into it. Pay into it. Absolutely. You don't need a financial advisor to pay him to pay into your fucking 401k if you're in your 20s, or if you're 16, 17, 18 and your mama forced you to get a job. Go to that job, and I don't give a fuck what has to happen. Put money into that 401k. Fuck the Jordans, because when you're 40 you'll still look like me and be able to wear fucking Jordans. I got 22-year-old girls wanting to fuck me because they think I'm their age. Okay, so put your fucking money in a 401k. One, that's step one. If they match it as well, right? Like I said, I curse, I spit, I listen to gangster rap, but me saying fuck is no worse than the conditions that y'all motherfuckers are leaving your families in. Yeah, pay off that loan, Brody. Right? Put money into whatever company you work with for a 1K. Now, you don't want to only depend on your job. So, you're also going to get a private IRA, because you're not going to be able to max out your 401k. The maximum that you can put into a 401k as of this year is 23,000, or it might be 23.5. It used to be 22.5. I think it's 20. It might be 24,000 this year. But put as much money as you can into that 401k. And everybody, if we in our 40s, you got kids who are in your 20s, tell your fucking kids to watch this shit. It ain't no worse than listening to get him sexy. Get him sexy. So get the fuck out of here being outraged by what the fuck I'm saying. And I know ain't none of y'all outraged, but there are people who are. Right? But, like I said, put money in that 401k. Get a permanent life insurance, whether it be whole life or indexed universal life. Overfund the policy. The way that you overfund a policy is, you want to get with an 8, give me a call and we'll set it up, right? But here's how you do it. You want to ask, you buy the least death benefit for the most amount of premium. So when you go to somebody and you say, listen, how much is $100,000 death benefit? Because you're going to do two things. You're going to get a term life insurance policy, and you're going to get a whole life insurance, right? The whole life insurance is not meant for a death benefit. It's not meant for you to die and leave somebody a check. It's like wheels on a car. You should have term life insurance so that you can leave shit to people. You should have whole life insurance so that you can use it during your fucking life. Right? If I have tires on the left side of my car but none on the right, I can't go anywhere. It's a balance. Right? So, 401k, put money into that. Then you're going to get an IRA, right? You can put, I believe at this year, it's $7,000 a year. But you can put $500 a month, which is $6,000 a year. Now, some insurance companies, because it's best to get an IRA with an insurance company. And you want to make sure, basically this is a Roth because it's after-tax dollars. So you've already paid taxes on this money. So you will only pay taxes on the capital gains. You won't pay taxes on it like with your 401k. Your 401k will be taxed on the money that you've put in and the growth. Okay? We'll talk about that later. But so, 401k, then you're going to do your own IRA, generally with an insurance company. Some insurance companies or banks will allow you to start it with as little as $2,000 a year. Fuck it. $2,000 a year, do it. You buy Jordans, you buy tickets to the movies, you buy characters on Roblox, you buy AFIS, right? So, again, this is only if you, this is for everybody, but really if you're in your 20s, right? I'm gonna give you the fucking head start. So if you're in your 20s, this is head start shit. Again, 401k, if they got it at your job, I don't care if you're fucking working at McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, or the fucking dollar store. They all got a 401k. A lot of them also offer tuition reimbursement, meaning they will pay you back for going to college, but just don't get a fucking basket weaving degree. And to be honest, college is becoming obsolete due to the migration crisis. Right? So, 401k, private IRA, like I said, you can start it with at least $2,000. You're going to get a term life insurance policy. Okay? You're going to get the most term life insurance you can as possible. A 30-year term life insurance policy. Make sure it is a 30-year term life insurance policy. Okay? Now, some states will also offer a return of premium term. And that's what you want to look for most places. New York does not offer return of premium. I'm licensed in 13 states, but New York does not offer return of premium, but most states do. So you want to get a return of premium term insurance policy. Return of premium 30-year term. Some will only offer you 20. So because you're 20 in your 20s, you want, or if you're just in your early 30s, still do this. But return of premium term, right? So get a 30-year term. Big, big, big face amount, right? He says it's paying back that money I took out of the 401k is what I'm saying. I'm looking for a second and third job plus a side hustle to try and play catch up. OG Patrice, what's going on? Let me give you a wrench. Add as moderator. Okay. So, again, 401k, right? Yes, pay it back. Contribute. There's something called, that's pre-needs, but we'll talk about that momentarily. So, you pay into the policy, or pay into the policy, you see, you distracted me. So, you pay into the 401k, which is a policy, but still, that's a different product. IRA, $2,000 a year, fine. Get a 30-year term life insurance policy. Yeah, I guess I was talking about policy. The biggest face amount possible. Why? Because that's to leave a death benefit. Okay? But Generally, you can leave that to a trust. We'll talk about that later. That's how you would do funeral services, etc. But you also get a whole life insurance policy, or I should say a permanent life insurance policy, depending on your budget. Okay? Now, here's the cool thing. Here's why you want to get both a whole and a term life. Because with traditional whole life insurance, actually, you know what? Let me see if I can check if I can do this on my tablet. I'm going to go to producer workbench. I had turned this car on again for a second. What the fuck? I'm gonna close all tabs. One second here. I'm trying to bring something up. Okay. So, the thing that is age dependent, OG Patrice, is the length of term. The older you are, the shorter it is. Nice bends. So, what it is whole life insurance allows you to get a rider, right, that combines both. So you'll have a whole life policy, but you'll have term insurance on it. So for example, I actually have a client who actually usually, she follows me here on YouTube. Some of you know her, Malika, who we did that. So she needed a certain number. And what we did was she wanted some permanent insurance, but the budget that she had wouldn't fit with the amount of death benefit that was recommended, right? So in order to take care of both needs, what we did was we did a smaller portion of it was whole life, and then the larger portion of it, the rest of it, for example, let's say the number was, let's do a round number. Let's say the number was 500,000, right? So we did 100,000 as whole life, and then 5, 4, 5, 7, 2, 4. And then the other 400,000 we did as term. But because of her age, at her age, she could still get a 30-year term. But if you're 50, you can only get a 20-year or a 10-year term, 20 or less year term, right? If you're 60, I think if you're 70, you can only get a 10-year or less year term, right? So the older you are, the less length of term you can get. But yes, at any age, you can get a combination. So bear with me here, y'all. I'm trying to... My tablet is not cooperating with me. Let me clear all this stuff out. That's what it is. You know, installed apps and shit. So, let me see. He says, so is there a policy that allows you to pay for yours and others' funeral services? So, you can't pay for a funeral directly. What you do is you can receive the proceeds and pay for the funeral. So now that's actually another thing. Life insurance proceeds, the way they pay out is variable, right? And what I mean by that is the only money that you're going to get immediately within like 2 weeks of putting in a claim is generally final expense. Other insurance can take up to 18 months. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to take 18 months because people want to be concise about wording. It can take up to, meaning that it could take up to a year and a half for the insurance company to cut you that death benefit check. It could take 2 days, right? There's no telling, but you have usually up into that maximum of 18 months for them to cut a check. So what I'm doing right now is I'm logging into my back office because I want to see if with Universal Life you can also do a term perm blend. It depends, OG Patrice. If you're making more than $250,000, well, if you're single, if you make $250,000, that's non-taxable. If you're married and you make $500,000, that's non-taxable. Then, you know, you always have the option of a 1030. Is it a personal property or an investment property? If it's an investment property, you could do a 1031 exchange or something called a 1035 exchange. Not many people are familiar with a 1035 exchange, and if you Google it, it'll just tell you insurance to insurance or annuity to annuity. But if you look at it, and especially in the tax code, it's a like kind exchange, right? And so, it's personal property. Okay. It's subjective. I mean, it depends on, you know, a few things. Again, is it because, well, your 401k is going to be to all taxable, right? So that's pre-tax dollars. So if you're getting it, you're going to pay the taxes on it first, or are you just going to put it directly into the 401k? If you put it directly into the 401k, you don't end up paying taxes, but you have to pay taxes in the future. And in the last 40 years, have you seen the income tax rate go up or down? I've only seen it go up. So that stands to be that at the time you'd need it, the income tax rate would be up. And so you'd also pay income tax rate on that, as opposed to paying the taxes now and then putting it into, I prefer paying taxes now. Most fiduciaries will tell you to pay taxes now. Because again, in the last 40 years, have you seen the income tax rate go up or down since Reaganomics? Right? And even Ronald Reagan, I have a video shared by my man David Kinder where Ronald Reagan was doing a State of the Union, and he said to the people, a 21-year-old can get a life insurance policy and guarantee him more money than Social Security. It would guarantee him $121 a month. A 31-year-old would still net him more money. Let me just pull up a illustration real quick. Let's do this one. Oh, no. Yeah, so pay your taxes up front. Now, the IRA, again, there's maximums you can put into it unless it's a first year, right? But I wouldn't start an IRA, I'd start an annuity. And depending on how you are, you know, there's different products, right? So with that, you will want to talk to a financial advisor and, you know, ask them a few questions about some products and services, right? You want to ask about MIGAs, which is a multi-year guaranteed annuity. You want to ask about FIAs, which are fixed indexed annuities, which is my favorite product. And you want to ask about VAs, which is variable annuities, which is an indexed annuity on steroids. But there's a lot of market risk, right? Like if I pull up, well, I can't pull it up right now. I don't think I can pull up WhatsApp right now. But if I pull up WhatsApp, I could show you, I think I have a video of it on TikTok. Make sure y'all follow my TikTok too. It's Social Media Insurance Brother, because I couldn't put the All-Star Advisor in there. It was too long. Let me see if you can put a... Let's This is whole life and term. I want to put universal and index. Growth. Right. Yeah, let's see. Term M is supplemental. Sure. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's only an option in traditional whole life. So in traditional whole life, you have an option of combining term and whole life. So again, get the IRA, get the 401k, right? You also get a term policy and a whole life, right? You get a 30-year level term of a large death benefit. You also get a whole life that you are going to overfund. So whatever the cost of insurance is in that whole life, if they tell you that that whole life cost you at 25 years old for $50,000 of death benefit, it costs you $100 a month. I want you to put $200 a month into the whole life. Okay? Because what you're doing is you're overfunding the policy. Okay? Essentially what it is it's a forced savings account. Okay? If you're putting it into an indexed universal life, it becomes a forced savings account on steroids. Okay? Depending on things like the asset allocation. Okay? So yeah, there is no term insurance on universal life, but there is term insurance on whole life. So again, those are the basic things you want to do just to kind of start your thing there. Like I said, you also want to open a savings account. That savings account, you throw money in there. Maybe you don't start with $1,000, right? As a young kid, start with $200 saved, right? When you save up $200 in that savings account, and remember, that savings account is one that you have to go to the bank to put money in and take money out. The old school way is to call it a passbook savings account. Tell them, OG Patrice, you remember the term passbook savings account. If you're at least 40 years old, you remember that. Tell them, K, TWP, what's going on? Salute. Right? So, excuse me, I got gas. So, passbook savings account, right? So again, tell these things to your kids. Shit, tell these things to your grandkids. Tell these things to your nieces and nephews, right? Make sure, again, an annuity is also a great product. So that's why I know you were saying the 401k and the IRA, but that's why I would recommend personally, without looking at anything and without giving you an assessment, I generally recommend a fixed indexed annuity, right? But that's my favorite product. So again, that's one of the dangerous things about social media, because everybody wants to get you in your gotcha moment as well, right? So they'll be like, oh, see, he said invest in this, which is why it's difficult to actually be licensed and talk about this type of shit online, right? Because actually being licensed, people know that they'll get you in this gotcha moment. And if I actually tell you, hey, put it in this, like I said, if I say, hey, when you sell your house, put it in a fixed indexed annuity, and then you do it and it harms you, the difficulty is I can't actually tell you what to do with your money because I haven't sat and had an assessment with you. It's like if a doctor's online and you say, hey, I have diabetes, what should I do? Okay, well, certain diabetics should, okay, most diabetics should, take their blood sugar, right, to see where they're at. But, so yeah, most people should get life insurance. That's cool, but he can't tell you, okay, no, I'm diabetic. What medicine should I take? Well, I don't know. right? There's a whole lot of other things that I have to assess before I tell you what medicine you should take. So I can't tell you online what medicine to take. Don't take offense to this, anyone. This is just the reality of it. So don't get taken aback when people are telling you, yeah, do this. It's a surefire way, right? Because then people will also try to weasel a lot of other shit like I went through yesterday. Oh, the wording can. You're always going to have can and could and should be and up to. And possibly. Because nothing is... But you do also have guarantees. So let's go back to policy. And so I'm going to show you guys really quick what a term perm policy looks like. So right here I have Luka, since Luka in the Dallas Mavericks, right? So Luka Planswell is his name, right? So Luka Planswell. So, oh damn, my tablet's sticking. What the fuck? Alright. So, let's see. How old is Luka? So let's make Luka 25. Okay. Why is this shit button? I had to turn it sideways. So we're gonna make Luka 25 years old, right? And we're gonna put him in a whole life combination term life. Right? So let's give him minimum man. $200 a month premium, right? He's a healthy, non-smoking individual. He doesn't smoke cigarettes. Okay, and we're gonna add some riders. Okay, so what riders are we gonna add? Right, so I'm illustrating a policy as we go. So first, we're gonna add level term. We're gonna add 50,000. Let's see if I can add another. And damn, my tablet moving slow. Hold on, y'all. Alright. So we're gonna give him a 30-year term in addition to a small face amount whole life that he's gonna minimum. Where's the damn download? Okay. Alright. So here we go. Here goes Luka. Luka Planswell. Right? So as you can see, I just did that. And it's presented when? Right now, I'm trying to see when the date on this is. So you can see I just did this. Oh yeah, today. May 16th, 2024. Okay. So he's starting with just the $25,000 death benefit face amount for $200 a month. Now that seems like an overpayment. Now what you got to look at is altogether He's got a term policy of $1,025,000 because he bought the $25,000 whole life, but he also bought $1,000,000 term right in the same policy. I know the numbers are probably small. Hold on, let me increase this. It's hard to see. Hold on. You know what? Let me do it like this. Hold on. I just realized this. Alright. Alright. So here we go. So right? So he's paying $2,400 the first year, but then the premium goes down, right? Because he's paying for a couple of riders, right? So he's got a $1,000,000, but why did the death benefit go up? Because the cash value went up, right? So he also gets a dividend, right? So he's overpaying into the policy. So the cash value is increasing the death benefit. So every year the death benefit is increasing, right? And then at year 30, right, he's 55, the 30-year term drops off. Because let's say he no longer needs that 30-year death benefit, right? Now, let's look at his cash value at that year. At that year, he's 56 years old. He's got $42,000 of cash value. Okay, so he came out of his pocket $49,000. So over the course of that years, he spent 7 grand, right? And by age 60, he'll have $45,000 worth of cash value, right? And as he continues to age, his cash value continues to grow. And now at age 75, right, where are we here? 75, right? He's come out of pocket 56 grand, but he's got 61 grand in cash value. Now, yes, it takes a long time, but this is at a low level. This is at a $200 a month premium. Again, this is just starting, but this is one thing that you can possibly do, right? So again, you also want to get, now, here's another thing we'll do while I'm at it. Since I'm at it, right? We'll go back. Oh, alright, so now we'll go to policy. Alright. Abilities. Okay, so they have an index 7. Okay, so this is a fixed indexed annuity. So again, this is the thing I was explaining to you about things like your 401k. So a 401k and a traditional IRA are things that are called qualified, which is taxable, right? So you got your traditional, your SE simple, or a Roth IRA as other options that you have, right? Let's see what we have for the single premium. Well, that's going to be if we do qualified. So you also have a money purchase, an HR10, HR10 Keo, a simple, a 403B, a Roth IRA, 457, a defined benefit, profit share, or a 401k. So those are obviously the products that I'm available to offer to you, right? So that's for qualified money. That means that it's pre-tax dollars. So again, for example, OG Patrice, if I were to tell you, um, sell your house and don't pay the taxes, I would have you put it into a qualified product. Oh, no. Right? So we're going to do non-qualified, which is after tax dollars. Right? So, no, that's a spear. That's what was messed up there. So again, we're going to do non-qualified money. fuck? Cancel. There we go. Do the single premium there. Alright, and then you can also change the allocation. So I'm going to show you about what, salute Rob, what's going on? I'm going to show you about the allocations here. So, as you see here, you have a fixed account. But again, this is an indexed annuity. Right? So these are the ways that these are the indices that you have to allocate the monies to. Right? So you have the fixed account. Right? You have the S&P 500 1-year point to point. You have the S&P 500 1-year monthly average point to point. You have the S&P 1-year monthly average sum cap. You have the Sector 500, which I like because that's a lot of participation. You have the Sector 500 Index 2. You have the Russell 2000. So the Russell 2000 is small cap companies. You have the Russell 2000 1-year point to point and the Russell 2000 1-year monthly average. Okay, you also have the Morgan Stanley International 1-year point to point and the Morgan Stanley 1-year monthly average. On average, you can allocate 100% to the fixed account, 100% to any account. Let's say he wants to be super safe and allocate 100%. And this is why I can't tell you what to do either, because I have to sit and look at your asset allocation and your strategy. This is why a lot of people don't talk about these products and they don't know how to use them. So let's just say we do this preview. Right? Download again. Okay. So, this is an annuity, right? So it's a fixed indexed annuity. So let's look first at the asset allocations. So right now we have it at the fixed account, which the current interest rate is 4.25%. There is no cap because it's not a participating process at this point in the fixed account. Your current participation rate obviously is non-applicable. You also have the S&P 1-year point to point with a cap. The cap is 8.1% currently. This is why the market being what it is right now is good for insurance, because things like annuities are going up. So your participation rate there is 100%. But 100% participation rate means that if the market goes up 10%, your 100% participation is that you get 100% of your 8.10%. Or 100% of whatever the high was at that 1-year point to point. So if the high was 10%, you will get 8.10% of the 10% from January 1, 2024 to January 1, 2025, whatever this was mirroring of that S&P. 1-year point to point monthly is the same thing as annual, but on a monthly basis. And that cap is 9%. You've also got the 1-year point to point with a cap on the monthly sum. So you get the sum of the month. And that's a 2.4% cap. Now the sector rotator, you don't have a cap, and it's 160% participation. My hand is itching. So that means, damn, I am really itching right now. So it's 160% participation rate. So you get 160% of the what just happened there? Oh shit. Oh, I guess my car just went off. Oh, my tablet went off. Oh shit. Alright. So, alright, here we go. Or you could get the sector rotator, uh, RC5, the 2 year point to point. So that follows 2 years uh, of the, basically it's the 1 year point to point, but two, and it follows the sector rotator. We'll explain that later, but you get 220% participation. Remember, this is all with a zero floor. So it's also dependent on your allocation, how these products perform. And this is what people mean when they say things like a properly structured IUL or a properly structured annuity. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. So, you could also go to the Russell 2000, which has a 7.6% cap, but 100% par rate. Russell 2000 1 year point to point, 9.3. Well, that's the monthly average, 9.3%. So as you can see, you have the percentages here, and you get the option to allocate. Excuse me, I'm getting tired. About to go upstairs and get something to eat. It'll also show you the accumulation, so you can. It'll tell you here about choosing your strategies. I'm looking for the charts because there usually is a prospectus unless I passed it. So, again, this is for Luca Planswell. Damn. I'm not trying to type on this. What the? Right? Alright, there we go. This is for Luca Planswell. Right? Hold on. Where is it? Luca Planswell, 25. Right? Illustration date, June 1, 2024. I don't know how that's possible. Is today June 1st? I guess I illustrated it for the future. So, year one, he puts in $10,000, right? And as you'll see, he puts in nothing else. Year one, he's accumulated or interested $425, right? So that's his accumulation value. So when people talk about what about the fees, you see here, he's got a surrender value. So if he cancels the policy there, he would get back $9,300. Right? So life insurance is for living too long, while annuities are for dying too soon. Life insurance is for dying too soon, while annuities are for living too long. Right? But you'll also see here it has a death benefit. So should he die, he can bequeath that $10,425 to someone. This is also a way to do a collateral assignment too. So as you'll see, every year he gets accumulation value, he gets interest credited, and his value just grows. And the interest just keeps compounding and compounding and compounding. So let's see. Remember, he's 25, so by 35 he's got 15 grand. So by 35 he got half his money back, which is, right? So that's 100% on investment. Right? Because to double your money is 200% on investment. Right? So by 40, he's got 18 grand, almost 20. And remember, this is just putting 10 grand away and letting it sit there. Right? Mind you, also, you've got a death benefit of $24,000. So your minimum guaranteed surrender value means if the insurance company is hemorrhaging money we can still get from the day that you purchase the policy, we would still be able to guarantee you this minimum amount if you surrendered the policy. Right? Oh damn, that shit just went bazooka. So again, you see he has no outlay of premium but that first 10,000. So by 50, now he's got what? 28 grand of value. And if he should surrender, he's got 28 grand. That minimum value is, again, if the insurance company is hemorrhaging money. This is what is actually happening today. This is worst case scenario. The insurance company never made a dime after you bought the policy. Never happening. Right? And so it continues. Again, this is just a kid putting 10 grand away. So, you know, it runs all the way to 105 years old. But look, at 60, he's got 44 grand. Now look, this is something you put away when you was 25 and forgot about it. Now you 60, you like, oh shit. Trust me, even at 40, you'll be like, oh shit. But at 25 to 30, you won't be thinking about it. Right? So, I'm going to finish this, Jay, but I'm going to hop off here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall. And I've returned today to wipe a tap on your head with another ADH Wealth solution. Make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth, or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Work in progress every day and see success. Work in progress every day and see success. And remember, folks, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.